Here we have another fun polar graph problem. So a polar function is given by r equals f of theta equals -1 plus sine theta. As theta increases on the interval 0 less than theta less than pi over 2, which of the following is true about the points on the graph of r equals f of theta in the xy plane? So I am much more comfortable personally with this type of function in the Cartesian. So let's consider f of x equals -1 plus sine x. And then we'll use our knowledge here to figure out what's going to happen in the polar context. So basically, this is just the sine graph translated down 1 unit. So it starts at 0, -1, and as we go from 0 to pi over 2, we actually make our way instead of up to 1, make our way up to 0, and then go down, come back up. Okay, so this is what my graph ends up looking like. And I care about this portion here. So I can see that now. Let's talk about f of theta. So f of theta is less than 0. Notice I don't include, I had to double check. Less than 0 on the interval 0 less than theta less than pi over 2. I also see that f of theta is increasing on that interval, which, since we're less than 0 and we're increasing, that means that we are moving toward 0, which is the important point here. Okay, so as we're graphing this now in our polar context, I'm really caring about pointing in these directions. So from 0 to pi over 2 is this first quadrant. However, since I'm negative, when I point to the right and take a negative step, I actually end up to the left. So this will be the distance of -1. And since I'm negative but increasing, I will move towards 0, and I'll get to 0 when I'm pointing up. And let's see which one satisfies us. So the points on the graph are above the x-axis. They are not above the x-axis because as we're pointing towards the first quadrant and take a negative step, our points will end up in the third quadrant. The points on the graph are above the x-axis. No. The points on the graph are below the x-axis. Yes. And getting closer to the origin. Yes. And notice I used filled in circles because this is on the function. However, this interval would have open circles, so we are below the x-axis if we're on that interval. So we are not moving further away from the origin, we're moving towards the origin. Our answer is C.